Evening all, welcome to episode 19 of Friday Night Rambles. This is our last live episode before next week, before we end the series next week. At the end, I am going to talk a little bit about next week in general, because we've done a special pre-recorded episode from the Customs House in South Shields, which I'm really looking forward to. So I thought this week, why don't we bridge the gap between what we've been doing generally and someone who has got a very good tie with the Customs House in many different aspects. But she's more than just the Customs House. She is West End, international. She is UK tour. She is just an amazing, amazing performer and an amazing human. I know this lady very, very well. It's Annie Guy. Hello, Annie Guy.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm super well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, I'm loving the stage you wore. I'm really enjoying it.
It's so awkward, isn't it? It's like, here's my CV on the wall. Not just mine.
Oh, lady, how have you been keeping anyway? Because it's been a while since we sort of spoke.
Yeah, I feel like everyone's kind of just drifted apart in this like weird lockdown thing. Like I feel like no one's in touch with anyone from the industry or anything anymore, and it's just so weird. But I'm really well, considering everything. I am doing really well. So
that's good. So let's start at the beginning. What I tend to ask everyone is how people got started doing what they're doing. So how did you get started in the business show?
Oh, it's just a long time ago. I'm quite old now. I've kind of always wanted to do this since I was tiny. I was such a stagey kid. I went to Stagecoach, as you know. I used to go to Stagecoach when I was little with Robert. So I went to Stagecoach. I was a Stagecoach kid for like 15 years of my life. But like my mom kept going, Annie, you need to train in ballet, you need to train in tap, when you're a kid, you're like, it's boring, I don't want to do that. So I didn't, and then I hit like 14 and I was like, I should probably start like homing in on my dancing now. So I was like a little bit behind in that, because I just wanted to do shows all the time. It was just what I was obsessed with. So yeah, I was so lucky when I was little. As I think you did the same thing, Robert. With like Stagecoach and other opportunities and stuff, all of the touring shows that come around, you always used to get, like, especially being up north, we don't really have much, like as a kid, we didn't have much connection with like London auditions at the time or when I was growing up. So we got to be the kids in all the shows and all the touring shows that come around. So over Christmas time, it was so cool. Like everyone would be at school and you were like, sorry, I'm just going to go and do my show. So it was wicked. So I absolutely loved it then. But it's really weird. I've actually done shows as an adult now with people that I was in a cast with when I was a child.
And that's bonkers.
Isn't that really weird? I was like, oh my gosh, you were like my Joseph when I was like 7.
Yes.
So
Richard Meek. That's weird.
Like, I was definitely a child.
He was my first Joseph when we did it. We did it at Whitney Bay. It's bonkers. So cool.
Yeah, so I mean, I put all of my energy into it. Like I'm very much like that. I'm either like all or nothing, even as a kid. So, all my energy went into that. I was like singing every night. I was at singing lesson or a dance lesson or a tap lesson or I don't know. And then I was super, super lucky through YMT. I used to do the summer schools every year, and they had a scholarship for a school in London. I mean, at the time, I was so like, I didn't have a clue about any of this. I knew that I wanted to go to art ed, and that was it. I came to like A-level time, and I kept going, Mum, I want to go to Brit School. Because it was the only one that I knew of at the time. I didn't know what Brit School, but I did. I went to PPA in Guildford to do my A-level equivalent. It was amazing. Like I would never have got into like degree drama school had I not have gone there, but I was so lucky that I got to leave home when I was quite young. So just turned 17. I was like, see ya. So moved down south, spent 2 years at that drama school, which was incredible, and then auditioned for Arts Ed, which was the school I always wanted to go to, and I trained there for 3 years, which was just the best thing ever. I feel like I would just go back tomorrow if I could and retrain all over again. So yeah, I kind of always did it my whole life, but you do have to have like a determined mindset to just keep on going and keep persevering and to do it and stuff. But
and the thing was Artside as well. It's Andrew Lloyd Webber's school. It's his baby. So to be associated with someone like Andrew Lloyd Webber, it's a big deal.
I have a funny story about this, right? So my first year of art ed, it was like a celebration for some reason. I can't even remember why now. And they were doing a Vita. And if you were on like a scholarship at art ed, you had to kind of tech the shows. So I ended up being on a follow spot for the first time in my life, teching a Vita. And Andrew Lloyd Webber came to watch it on the gala night. And it was dead exciting. And then in the foyer at the end, I'm like in my blacks, like sweating. I was in first year and I got to meet him for the first time. And he was like, "Hello, nice to meet you. What do you do?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do follow spot." just didn't tell him that I went to art ed or that I trained or that I did musical theatre at all. I was like, "Yeah, I'm follow spot." He was like, "Okay."
Only you could do that though. Only you.
Like, not like, "Oh, thank you so much. I come here. Like, I train here." No, I'm follow spot. I was like, you must have been like, "Okay, weirdo."
But everyone's important in theatre though, so.
Oh my gosh, yeah, but do you know when you just want to like show somebody like who you are and that, like, I don't know, you do performing and you're there to train and I just not words in front of my mouth. I was like,
So obviously you trained up here, like doing like as a growing up was the word I was looking for. Growing up. So what was the big difference for you when you moved from the Northeast to London for the first time?
That's such a good question. Each discipline is trained separately. I feel like up here, when you're up north, it's hard because you're not doing it full time. And for me, I didn't go dance. I wasn't a festival kid, so I didn't go dancing all the time. And I wasn't training all the time. So for me, I always used to just rehearse a show. And you'll have had that at different like drum groups and stuff. But because I like to do shows, all I ever did was rehearse shows. I didn't actually train each discipline. So when I got to London, from like my 2 years at PPM, my first year, especially at Arts Ed, you don't feel like you're doing musical theatre because each discipline's trained separately. I just remember being like, I just want to do a show. I just want to do musical theatre, but you're either doing ballet and that's what you're doing, or you're doing jazz and that's what you're doing, not to musical song, like technique. You're singing, but you're not singing MT. You're like training, so for me, that was such a big difference. It's incredible. Like it's the only way really to like perfect your disciplines. But when I went down, it was like I don't know, big, what's the saying? Small fish in a big pond.
Big pond, yeah.
Yeah, that was it. So, but that's a great position to be in, to like, be a big fish and then go somewhere else and be back at the bottom again and have to try and work your way up. And it's just how you get better, being surrounded by people who are better than you. It makes you like, strive to be better. Yeah, it was great.
Especially when you're there 3 years, you must develop a lot of different things. Because I remember when we talked about it, your final year, you did, was Urinetown.
Yeah, I did Urinetown as my third year show. So I played Hope Cladwell, which I was so lucky. Like when you're auditioning for the Arts Ed, like third year shows, like they're so good. Like I remember watching them and being like, these guys are incredible. Like they're industry standard. The shows are just, you could pick one of the Arts Ed shows up and put it on like in town and you wouldn't know. Like they're fab. I was so lucky to get that role in that show. It was at Arts Ed, like a school that I'd always wanted to go to and stuff. It was very, very, very grateful.
And when you look at the names as well that have come out of that school, you look at some of them like Samantha Barks, who's just about to play Elsa in the West End, Les Mis movie, big names. The Strallans, or like quite a few of the Strallans have been to Arts Ed. There are some big names.
Yeah. Even the guys who like maybe names aren't as big as well, like, I don't know, training is what you make of it. Like it doesn't really, I don't know, it's easy for me to say, but I feel like all the shows that I've been in, like not everyone's been from Arts Ed, everyone's been from loads of different random schools. But training is like absolutely what you make of it and what you put into it is to like, what happened when you're on the outside.
And that's something that we'll come on to a little bit later. But what happens after you finish Arts Ed? So you finished Arts Ed, what happens next?
So, third year of arts ed is a bit mad. So everyone, and I'm assuming for every other drama school as well. So yeah, I did third year shows, and then straight away we were like in auditioning for West End shows whilst we were in third year, and I was like, what is happening? So yeah, I graduated there, and then I was super lucky. I left arts ed early, about a month early, to go into West Side Story, which was incredible. Like I never thought when I was younger that I would be able to dance West Side Story as a kid that didn't really train that much in dance when I was younger. So that was like a big, I was like, well done, Annie, for that one. I'm saying that I did cover Maria. So I was definitely on the cover track. So I wasn't doing the like crazy dancing, but I was still doing the mambo, so it was all right. So yeah, I mean, I couldn't cover Maria right now because I'm blonde, but underneath this blonde hair, there is, it is darker. So yeah, I covered Maria, and I played Rosalia as well, who is the comedy character, which I seem to always get put into. Funny friend. Yeah, and I got to sing America, which was incredible, with the fantastic Sophia Ragavelis, who is one of my very good friends now, who's just incredible as Anita. It was fab.
Again, with West Side Story, the show is as synonymous as whoever's in it. You know, like it is one of the best shows out there. So to do that as well, and did you do the original choreography as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And the cast were just phenomenal. Like it was incredible. Didn't realize how lucky I was at the time when I was doing it, because I was so like swept up in, okay, I've just graduated. Okay, now I'm going to go do this show. And then I didn't quite know who the people were who I was in the show with until like, a year down the line. And you're like, oh my goodness, like the people in that show were actually incredible. Just very, very lucky. So yeah.
And with that production, it wasn't like a West End production, it was a regional production. So again, what are the differences there?
Yeah, so I was at Kilwith House, which is the most incredible venue, and they have the most incredible choreographers and directors, incredible shows there. It's in Leicester, which is fab, but it's outdoor theatre, which for West Side Story was actually insane. So when it was getting dark on a night time, because a lot of West Side is set outside, so it was just really, really cool, unless it rained and then the stage was slippy, and that wasn't fun.
So do you have any, is there any backup plans for if something like that happens and it rains?
No, you just go on and do it. Like we didn't cancel any shows. There was sometimes we were like, is this gonna go on? But no, you just get on with it. It's part of the fun.
So no turning into singing in the rain. We didn't start doing a tap number in the rain.
I mean, there was puddles on that stage sometimes, but it's part of the fun.
And you say as well, you covered obviously the lead, Maria. So what was that process like, being an understudy for the first time?
It was brilliant, and Matthew White, our director, was just so lovely and caring with us, because myself and the girl who played the lead, Maria, which is Leila Zidi, who is the most incredible performer and most incredible voice. So that was an absolute honor. I've known Leila since I was this big. She also grew up with me up north, which is just weird. Godfast kind of did this, ended up in the same show. I don't know. So it was easy because I knew Leila really well. I guess if I went into a show blind and didn't know anybody, it might, because I can ask a question, so felt like I could, which was a lot easier. But Matthew White was so caring with us all, and we got loads of cover runs on the set. Back in the rehearsal room, we got our own vocal calls. So we spent a lot of time with our other covers, which was really, really nice. But I don't know, I like to work anyway, and I like to be challenged. So I love covering anyway, because I kind of I don't know, the thing where you don't know if it's going to go right or not. So it kind of is such a good thrill. So I really liked it.
And with a show like West Side Story, the sing on that show, especially for Maria, it's top soprano.
It's incredible. It's amazing. I was so lucky to be able to have the chance to do the show and do that part. It is great. The sing is hard, especially in the cold. It was freezing cold. You're oh, it's good.
So, what happens after West Side Story? What happened to you then?
After West Side Story, I then randomly changed course because you just got to follow wherever life takes you in this industry. And I went into a CBBC program called Dixie, which I played the lead character of Jane. I was definitely like 23 at the time playing a 16-year-old. It was hilarious. So yeah, I filmed for that for a while, for their 4th season. So we were filming for that for quite a while, which was a great experience because I'd never done any TV before. I didn't even know it was an avenue that I was able to go down because it's, I don't know, the rumor in the industry is quite difficult to change over. So I was lucky that I got to do that straight away. Yeah, it was great.
And kids' TV as well is a really hard thing to crack because everything's heightened, it almost is musical theatre like style without the musical theatre element.
No, you're completely right. It's hard because when you're training and everything, especially when you're doing acting and doing TV, what gets drummed into you is do less, do less, do less. Be so small, be so natural. And then you get your first TV job and it's CBBC and you're like trying to be really natural and they're like, Annie, be bigger. And you're like, all right, okay. You just kind of got to, go with it and feel the, like, I don't know, the piece of it and see where you need to be. But you adjust to your circumstances, I guess.
Yeah. And then we come to Thoroughly Modern Millie, which, again, is one of those shows that is a spectacle. It's obviously, it's very tap heavy. To me, it's very you. From knowing you, it's very you.
It is very me, yeah. I was so lucky, man. Like, I absolutely loved that show, and I loved it. I've had 2 different experiences with Millie. The first time when we went to I was ensemble, and I understudied the character part, Miss Flannery, which is like the opposite to me. Like, she's like a 45-year-old lady who's older than Millie, and at the time I looked younger than I do now. So my cover photos are hilarious, and I did have to go on for it, which was really funny. But it was such a good experience. So, like, I love them funny characters, like, who are just larger than life, and it was brilliant. And the fact that I got to tap, which I just love. I love tap. So that was great for the first leg of the tour. And then we got to take it to Canada, which was amazing. So we ended up going over the pond. And then I got cast as Miss Dorothy, who is the soprano friend of Millie. Oh, there's a fly in my room. She's the soprano friend of Millie. Which was just insane. Like, the whole of the tour, I was like, oh my gosh, I wish I could understand Miss Dorothy. Like, I wish. I actually think I auditioned to be like second cover Dorothy. Like, in my head, that was going to happen for me. So when I was on the tour, I auditioned for second cover Dorothy randomly. And then they must have seen that from when I went to Canada. Then I ended up going to Canada and playing Miss Dorothy, which is incredible. So it's so cool to be able to move around so many tracks in a show. So it's great.
So what is that like? Because obviously when you are understudying several parts, obviously when you did a West Side Story, you were understudying the one. What is it like? How's the process of understudying? Do you just start with one, then move along the rest?
Yeah, I had like a lot of highlighters, a lot of color charts. But no, it's great. And, whilst you're on stage and stuff, you kind of got to keep like an eye out on what other people are doing and stuff. Because most of the time you kind of learn, like, you're trying to learn your own track, but learn other people's tracks as well. So you kind of always just got to keep one eye on like what the people are doing. But yeah, it's good, and it keeps your mind busy. So.
And as well, you're living out of a suitcase. You're on tour for 6 months. What was that like? Like, how did you find touring compared to being static?
I love touring. I'm not gonna lie. I know a lot of people would prefer to be based and stuff, and although it is really nice when you're based, like, I love traveling and I don't know, you're always on the go, and I kind of like that lifestyle, so I didn't mind so much. I didn't drive at the time, so I had to like do all my tours by train, which, if people have toured before, it's when you accumulate stuff on tour. I don't know how buying things. So it started off with one suitcase, and by the end I had like 3 suitcases. So I was like, Ali, no. But I can drive now, so my next tour I'll definitely drive it.
And you, again, different places across the country. Where was like your favourite to perform?
Oh, this is so cliche. At the Sunderland Empire.
I thought you could say that.
Because like I grew up there doing shows as a child, like on the tours. And I knew backstage, and you know, you've been in the Sunderland Empire, like it's just an insane theatre that we have up in the Northeast. Like it's incredible. So when I was there, I was like, oh my gosh, like, you know, 10-year-old me used to sit in this dressing room or in this theatre and be like, I want to do this when I'm older. Like I want to do this for my life. And like here I am doing this with my life. I was just like, it just hit home, and it was fab. Absolutely loved it.
And where else, apart from the Sunderland Empire, because obviously that is an easier answer, where sticks out for you?
I like Richmond Theatre. It's just because a lot of shows kind of open there, so there's always like a buzz around it. People from London come to see it as well, so like all your pals can come. But because shows open there a lot, you know, the buzz of the theatre, the buzz of it always being opening night, but not just opening night of that venue, opening night of the tour. And there's something really buzzy about that. So I quite like Richmond, yeah.
Yeah. And what was Canada like? Because you've been to Canada quite a bit in your career as well.
Yeah, randomly, just go where it goes. Yeah, I love Canada, man. We've been going to Niagara Falls, so that's where we went. That's where the theatre is. It's in Niagara Falls, which is insane. Like, just look out of your hotel room and you're just like this huge waterfall. You're like, who knew? Like a little Geordie girl would be just sitting in Niagara Falls, like just taking in that view.
Yeah.
It was great, and I love working in the States, and I love working in Canada. It's fab and such an amazing opportunity.
And you went back out there last year to do another show there.
Yeah. So the company that I worked for, they do a lot of like singing contracts as well, which again was weird because I'd never actually done a show where I'd sang as myself. It sounds really weird, but you know, like as actors, you kind of always are other people. So you can be big and you can be like larger than life. And I went to just do, it was like a vocal show. And we were in Niagara and I was like, I don't know how to be myself. Like, what are my quirks? Like, what am I? So that was kind of a really good experience for me to kind of just, you know, learn how to be a singer as me and not, you know, being like the daft friend.
Yeah. And I guess when you're being you, because at the end of the day, you're normally playing a character. Mm-hmm. So to play yourself, a lot of actors say that is the most difficult thing they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was weird for me. I don't know. I'm quite a lot of the parts or a lot of like the covers and stuff that I go into are quite like comedic based. I don't know why, but I always end up going into like the comedy friend. So I don't know whether that's something that you hide behind or something, you know, it's easier for me to be like a bigger character than a smaller character, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So when I had to be myself, I was like, this is really weird. But you kind of, you know, we're performers, so, you know, you get it straight away. But I was just like, this is different. But it was such a good experience. So
yeah, it's one of those things. And in recent years, you've done a lot of stuff back at home at the Customs House. Mm-hmm. So how did you sort of get on that journey back home? What sort of led you back home?
Great. So I got off the plane from Canada the first time. And it was, so I got off the plane of Canada, and I was like, right, I don't know whether to go back home or come into London because my contract ran out on my flat. So I was like, right, I'm going to go home. I'm going to see my family for a little bit over Christmas. Came back up home, and then whilst I was at home, I was able to do the Customs House panto, which I auditioned for earlier on in the year, which was incredible. And I'd never done a panto before. So it was amazing to be able to come home and be at home with my family and, you know, do this amazing show with all of these incredible local performers who I just completely idolize. They're all fab. And just, you know, it brings you back down to earth a bit. You know, when you're in London and life is so busy all the time and you're here, there and everywhere. And then it was just the most humbling thing to come home and go, okay, now I can actually just, perform how I perform and just be who I am. And it was great. I absolutely loved it. So I was in Beauty and the Beast, the first one, where I was Belle or Beauty or
whatever it was. And that Panther was nominated and won a pantomime award, which is a big thing in the industry.
Yeah, in the panel world, it was absolutely huge. So I was just so grateful and honoured to be a part of that, which was it's really lovely to be recognised in this industry anyway. So for our panto to be, nominated, and various people in the panel to be nominated, this fly, honestly, is it was wicked. It was fab.
And then I want to sort of move on because you've sort of changed a bit of, well, a part of your life and part of what you do now is training the next generation through working through MTS. So tell us how that started.
Yeah, so MTS has been open, well, been open about a year and a half now, maybe a little bit more since we decided to do it. So yeah, I came back up home and I was like, I need to do something here. So I don't know, there was some training when I was younger that I wish I'd had at a industry standard when I was younger. We just didn't really have that. Also, feel like mental health and self-development within the arts is so important. And I don't think up north or kind of generally at the moment it is getting better, but I felt like it needed to be more apparent. I feel like kids can gain so much like confidence and so many life skills through doing performing arts that even if they didn't like do performing arts when they were older, but the skills and the confidence that they gain whilst training aids them in so many ways for like future life. Like, so I was so passionate about that. Opened this random company up at the time, didn't know where I was going to go, what I was going to do with it. Started to create these workshops and crazy intensive courses, which you've been a part of, which are just so fab. Like the energy in the room every single time is amazing. And we've like turned around some kids' lives in this last year, which I'm so can't believe that I've been part of that, and it's amazing. We started to open up audition preparation courses and stuff, and a lot of our kids have gone down London now to train. Didn't know they were going to do that. Came to our classes and I was like, look, why don't you audition? And they have, and a lot of them have gone to ArtsEd or gone to Guildford or gone to all these crazy big drama schools in London at 16 years old, and we're like, I'm so proud of them. So that's what they've gone down there now. And then we've recently just been nominated for, I've been nominated for Entrepreneur of the Year with the Educate North Awards, which is amazing for MTS, and kind of pushing through that like self-development within the arts. So yeah, it's been a crazy year, and it just exploded, and I didn't expect it to explode. So very, very grateful that, everyone who's ever worked with MTS or around MTS is like such a passionate person, and we kind of only draw in them passionate people to work, and that's why it works.
And for you, because you say at the beginning of this talk that obviously training is a big part of your mantra, but a big part of what you do. So what is it about the idea of training that made you want to do this? Why, like, what sort of things are like sort of your key things when you're teaching?
Definitely self-development and confidence. Like, we teach kids to always be the person that says yes, to be the person that puts themselves at the front of the room. It's so hard, especially now, like in this generation is so visual, and kids spend hours, including myself, I spent hours scrolling through Instagram and everything is visual, like, and kids find it awkward to talk to other people now and like connect with other humans. And a big part of performing arts and being an actor is connecting with other people, and I feel like what we coach is for them to have the confidence, like the utmost confidence within themselves, have a clear idea of their visions, have a clear idea of their dreams, and go and get it without fail, no matter what they're going to do it. They are all, everyone that comes to our courses now, they are all yes people. They don't go to the back. It's easy to hide in these places, but that's not where you grow. You grow by being in the front. You grow by being a yes person. So we just we just coach them. You've been in my workshops. Like, we just coach the kids to just be the yes people. We say, like, if you don't put your hand up, and then at the end of the week, all these people have had solos and been seen by agents and are going in for auditions, and you're not, and it's because you didn't put your hand up because you were scared about what it could be. You lose out on opportunities, and we kind of coach them to not be them people, to be yes people. And it's amazing to watch the journey of that. Like, the first workshop will come and they'll sit at the back, and by the end they're off to arts ed at 16, which is incredible. So,
and I guess as well, when you talk about this day and age, obviously the big C word that's batting around still, I guess you've had to really adapt, and I guess the students at the same time have had to adapt to that as well.
Yeah, I mean, you know what, like, it's happening, and it's really difficult because some people are affected by it a lot more than other people, and I do appreciate that. But we have a choice. Like, you can choose to sit and wait till it's over, or you can choose to know it's there, know it's big, know it's a big deal, but choose to use the time to develop yourself so that when it is over, you are like here. You can't see my hand. You're here. You're not like still in the energy level where you're going, oh, what is happening? What is happening? I've got this wrong. This is not working. You got to make a choice. Like, it's going to be there no matter what. So you can either choose to stay here, or you can choose to go, do you know what? There's these things that I need to work on. There's these things that I need to do. Look at all these amazing free classes that are on Zoom now. We never, ever would have had the chance to work with these incredible performers had this not have happened. So use them, use the platforms that we've got. So I know, like, all of my kids from MTS have been just like all over summer, having all these workshops, which have been incredible. And it is easy. Like, you have up days and down days. Like, I absolutely do. I've got one day where I'm like, right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be so productive. And then you have another day and you're like, what is happening? But you just kind of got to train yourself to have more of these days and them days. And it's happening no matter what. So you just got to kind of try to move forward and try to see what the kind of person you're going to be at the end of this journey. And I don't want to be my energy here. I want to get back into the industry and be so on my game to be like, right, what show am I going to go and do next? Not like, oh, okay, I've been eating too many pies for the last half year, which I had for the beginning of lockdown. I'm not going to lie to you. You know what I mean? You just kind of got to, it's so difficult because it is ruining a lot of people's lives. But if you're able to make a different choice, then I urge you to, because it really will help you in the future.
I think one of the reasons why I think a lot of people respond well to you as a person and as a coach is because of that whole, it's almost life coaching style driven in through like practical work. And I think that energy is infectious. So I guess throughout the lockdown, I know you've really been pushing that on your socials and through MTS, which I guess a lot of people have responded to very well.
Yeah, it's really hard, especially for young people. Like, this thing doesn't happen every day, and people don't know how to deal with situations like this. But if you know how to deal with yourself, if you know what kind of person you are, then it's easier for you to like navigate how to get around it and what's going to work for you and what's not going to work for you. Look, some of my kids didn't want to do a single dance class, and that's okay because their energy's not there, like their headspace is not there. But instead, we worked around it, and I was like, okay, why don't we do some practical work? Why don't we write? Why don't we, So it's kind of just discovering like your avenue. But you're completely right. Like, I'd love to think of that. It's like life coaching through training and performing arts. I feel like energy and who you are as a person has so much to do with how well you succeed, not only in this industry but like in life, really.
So what would you like to do next with MTS? Like what is like your sort of, obviously I know things change on a regular basis with this horrible virus thing, but what is it, what would you like to achieve with it next?
Yeah, we've kind of hit a point now where we are we train in intensive courses during all the holidays, So now we've kind of hit a point, and I think before I was worried to open a school or anything because in my head I was like, I know, but what if I've still got to audition? I've still got to, what about my career? But, you know, like, there's no reason why we can't have everything. I kept having to tell myself this, Annie, like, there's no reason why you can't do both. There's no reason why you have to, you know, give up your career if you want to do business. Like, it's mad that we drill ourselves into that headspace because we can do both. You know, if you create a wonderful team of people around you, you can, there is ways to do it. So yes, getting on to that. So the next thing for MTS would be to open academy. So after COVID, maybe not actually, who knows?
Because you've been doing a lot of stuff as well through COVID with a lot of different industry people with MTS. Like, there was someone from Strictly Come Dancing that came on.
Yes.
The workshop, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, wonderful thing, Katie Priest. I actually met her really randomly in London doing a muggle job. Muggle job. That's when you're not working in the arts. Job. So I met her there, and it's incredible. But yeah, she does a lot of work for Strictly, which is incredible. So she did some workshops with us. We had pro performer diaries. So a lot of pros coming on and just chatting about their kind of career and their work and industry and stuff, which is wonderful. And you know, it's lovely for like people to listen to people who they aspire to be like. So
yeah. And so if anybody's watching this and or anybody's watching this that knows people that are in that sort of area of wanting to train, or they don't know what to do, don't know what to where to start, where would you say is the best place to start?
Just start. It doesn't matter where, just start. There is no right place, there is no wrong place. And you know, you go to all of these schools and stuff, or you go to dance and you go to, I don't know, a Stagecoach or a PQA or any kind of dance school, drama school. And sometimes you do outgrow them. It's not a bad thing. You hit a certain point and you go, okay, I need to move on. But it doesn't matter where, just go. And then you'll figure out if it's for you or if it's not for you. But if it's not for you, it doesn't mean that this industry isn't. It just means that place wasn't. Just get started. Do nothing else. Like, get on YouTube, sing to backing tracks all the time. Book your mom to get you into dancing. Get yourself into dancing. You know, just start somewhere. Because there'll be some people at each school, at each dance school, at each drama school that'll go, hey, I know this really cool course, or I know this really cool summer school. And that's how you kind of get, you know, your toe dipped into lots of different things. Like, I know as yourself, like, I was super, super lucky when I was younger. I went to one dance school, and then from people there, I ended up going to another one, and then another one. And before you know it, you're trying to learn 20 scripts and, you know, juggle all of these things when you're younger, which is a great place to be. But that happens by just starting.
I think it's as simple as that. What would you like to achieve? Like, obviously, you talk a lot about other people achieving. What would you like to achieve? It's like my final question. What would you like to achieve? Like, what have you got left that you would like to achieve on your bucket list?
I don't know. You know, it changes all the time. As soon as you get it, you achieve a goal, you make new ones, and then make new ones and new ones, new ones. So, you know, right now, I really would love to do some Northern TV. I think maybe because I've just come back up into the area, and I'm like, oh, I'd love to do some kind of Northern TV. Would love to do some Northern TV. And obviously, I would just love to go back into a show. I love covering. I just want to get back into it. I would love to be Les Mis. Absolutely would love to. You know this. Love to be Les Mis. Yeah, I'd love to just tour again and just be in an ensemble and just dance with some of the wonderful people again. So yeah, I'm super, super happy being in the background of shows. I absolutely love it. It's like my safe place. So yeah, I don't know. I just to carry on doing what I'm doing, and you know, also to carry on like impacting other people's lives and just helping other young people, you know, start and achieve. So yeah.
And a big thing, this is my final question. A big thing like it's been threaded throughout what we've talked about is local theatre. It's different like local talent. So why do you think local theatre, especially the Customs House, which obviously is very ironic because next week we are doing our special from the Customs House. Why do you think local theatre is important?
It's so important. It's so important for communities. Like, you think theatres like the Customs House are just there to make money and it's a business. But like, it's just not a business. Like, obviously it is, but it's just so much more than that. Like, it's all of the families that go there every Tuesday to watch a movie, or go there every Wednesday for a cup of tea with their grandma. It's it's not just these big spectacle ATG tours that go around the country which are producing millions of pounds. It's not about that. It's about creating theatre in a community. And especially I think it's like such a highly rated thing, especially up north and especially in South Shields. There's such a community theatre. Like, people want to go and see local people, and the stuff that they create there is incredible. Like, the stories they put on, their youth projects that they have, it just impacts people's lives so much. Like, and I know the Customs House does impact a lot of people's lives, and I know there's going to be so many families and so many young performers and creatives and front of house staff and technicians and bar staff and managers and everyone whose lives have just been completely, turned upside down because of this. And it's so sad. Like, you just don't realize how many people it does affect. I mean, it's not just like the people at the top. It's like hundreds and hundreds of people are affected by a theatre. It's, I don't know, it's like the center point of a town. So yeah, it is really, really sad.
But on the positive side of it, especially when, like, obviously we've done shows together at the Customs House. We've done concerts and stuff before, and as soon as you walk into that theatre and you walk outside after the show, just the buzz from the audience, the buzz from the building, the buzz from just standing on that stage is something else.
Incredible. It's amazing. Like, and everyone knows it's amazing. Everyone feels the energy and everyone respects it and respects each other. And you all know that something good has been done there. And that's such an amazing feeling to have in different ways. So very grateful to have, also had the chance to work in local theatre as well.
And long may that continue. Before we sort of finish off, first of all, Annie, thank you so much. I've really enjoyed this. It's been lovely. If you just stay there for a second, because what we're going to do, I'm going to quickly talk about next week. If anybody would like to know, we are doing a Stand Up for Showbiz special with lots of fantastic names. Jenny Legg from 9 to 5. She closed 9 to 5 in the West End as the lead, who was an understudy. Amazing. Kevin Clifton from Strictly Come Dancing. Jodie Steele, who is a West End superstar. The lovely, actually, there's one guest I was going to say. I'm not going to say it because it hasn't been announced yet, but stay tuned tomorrow. That is the big guest tomorrow that's going to be announced. Now, you can get the link. There's a frequently asked questions video that we put up, but just to recap on that, if anybody's still wanting to know, the link is only available from the Customs House website, which I'll put up in a second, between the 7 p.m. on the 2nd of October and 4th of October, 11 p.m. That's the only time you can watch it in its entirety. That is all you're going to see, because we will put clips on YouTube afterwards, but that's the only time you'll get it. And you go to the Customs House website and you find us, Friday Night Ramble Stand Up for Showbiz, and you join us next week. Whenever you want, it's at your own leisure. You don't have to watch us at 7 o'clock next week. So this is our last one for a while. So thank you so much for everyone for watching this. It's been an absolute pleasure. We are going to be back. So we're here next week, and then we're off for a little bit, but we will be back before Christmas for a little run of Christmassy themed stuff, which I'm really excited for. So thank you so much. But a massive thank you once again to the lovely Annie Guy, who is, again, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, Annie. I absolutely love talking to you. But yeah, that's it. So thank you so much, and we will see you. Won't see you physically next week, but cheers to that. She's got a gin out. Drink responsibly. What we got? What we got?
Okay, it's pink gin and lemonade.
No, that's classy. That is classy. On that bombshell, drink responsibly. We'll see you later. Ta-ra. Thank you.